Make the ground shake.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Bosswave. Come back to you guys with some more Borderlands, the pre-sequel content, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my level 70 Claptrap build. I've done plenty of builds on Claptrap in the past. I did a level 50 build, which incorporates some lasers in with it, along with some explosives. I did a level 60 build when the Holodome Onslaught came out, and that was also based on explosives, but also had a freeze kind of twist to it. Now this one is also explosive, but it is focused on elemental aspects as well. And before I get to the actual build, I just want to make a kind of a bit of a thank you. I owe you guys a thank you because I recently just reached 400 subscribers on my channel, and to me that means a lot because not too long ago I was actually just hitting 300 subscribers, and you guys have been showing me quite a bit of support lately with the Claptastic Voyage. I just want to thank you guys so much for that. It seems like you guys really enjoy my content, and I'm definitely here to stay when I say that. Even though I don't upload as consistently as I'd like to, I always appreciate all of your support, and I always try to respond to as many comments as I can. You know, like when you guys comment on my videos and you know give me suggestions, or you like say you like the videos and stuff, it really just makes me feel warm inside that people actually appreciate my videos. And you know, I can't say thank you enough for that. You know, that just means so much to me that you guys come back and watch my videos and stuff like that. So once again, I'd like to say thank you, and you know, I'm here to stay. I'm here to continue to make more Borderlands videos for you guys. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the actual build. So I'm obviously going to go over the specs here first, but we're going to go over it a little bit differently than I usually do. We're just going to go through the spec live for you guys instead of just me going over all the skills for you guys. And before I do that, I'm going to drop my class mod real quick. And I know these videos can be kind of lengthy, so there's going to be links in the description that take you towards a certain time if you just want to see the guns or you just want to see the skills itself. And there's also going to be the gameplay as well at the very end, so if you guys want to see that or just that as well, you can go and there will be a link that will directly link you to where that time is, where it starts. So yeah, we're going to go over the skills here real quick. We're obviously going to spec into vaulthunter.exe because we have to. And this skill, or not this skill, this spec, not spec, this build is going to rather allow you to get all 3 capstones down here at the very bottom. So it's going to be very cool. I'm sure you guys will really like this build, but there's also going to be a download link in the description as well if you guys want to download this build and try it out for yourselves. But yeah, I'm going to tell you guys how to get most of the gear and stuff like that. But yeah, we need to start working on this build, so I'm going to go ahead and start here. At the boom trap skill tree, we're going to put 5 out of 5 and drop the hammer simply because I prefer it over killbot. Killbot is not a very good skill in my opinion because it reduces your shields, which is kind of like health insurance to me. So, and plus it regenerates your health. But this one, what this does rather, it reloads whenever you reload your weapon, it increases your fire rate and reload speed, but makes your accuracy worse. To me, I just found that to be the better one out of the two, so I went with that one. Next we have coincidental combustion, which whenever you shoot an enemy with a non-explosive weapon, it will actually do explosive damage. So it'll stack on top of whatever elemental weapon you are using or non-elemental weapon you are using. And to me, I just found it more helpful than repulsive. Repulsive is actually a decent skill to have, but I normally don't spec into it anymore because I like to use those skill points other places, and it's more helpful for a close counters build. I'm typically not too close quarters with this build anymore. This would be very helpful for a melee build because I'm actually thinking about doing another Claptrap build that involves melees primarily, but this is a very good skill to have if you're trying to do that. Next we have Second Wind by Teor, which is whenever you enter a fight for your life, you throw a Digistruct copy of yourself, which explodes like a grenade, and you continually emit explosive novas. Basically what that Digistruct copy of yourself does is that latches on to the closest enemy, and it helps you bring that enemy down by exploding next to them. So it's very helpful. It helps you get yourself up much faster. Plus with that explosive novas, that helps as well. And don't spec into Iron Rubber You're Glue. Torgue Fiesta is not one of the best skills out there. It really just, it's kind of random and spontaneous, and I don't really like it because it can also injure you and your friends. So don't spec into it. Definitely spec into, however, Load and Explode, because it increases your explosive damage even with guns that aren't explosive. So coincidental combustion stacks on top of with this, and I just find it to be really helpful. I used to spec into Start with a Bang, but with Start with a Bang and Drop the Hammer, that you just continuously knock down your own shield, because basically how this works is whenever you fire a fully reloaded gun, you generate an explosive nova, which hurts you. And with this constantly increasing as this is increasing, it's just the perfect storm, basically, because you are just constantly taking down your own shields and you eventually just down yourself, which is unfortunate because you don't want to down yourself. Hyperion Punch is just a waste of time. Don't spec into it. If you're not close quarters at all with people, this isn't a very good skill at all to have. And then definitely spec into, however, one last thing, which increases the last shot in each magazine size, or each magazine that you shoot, by 400%. And then Living Near the Edge, pirate ship mode. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say for that skill. Best buds for life. Now, basically, if you don't know what the skill tree is, this skill tree is basically the co-op skill tree for Claptrap, and a lot of it is based on health regeneration and stuff like that. But I always spec into Best Buds for life because whenever you revived or revive someone, you and your buddy gain health regeneration and damage resistance for a short time. Also, it extends Fight for Your Life and increases gun damage while down. So, along with Second Wind by Tediore, you're going to be able to get yourself up much, much faster. And then Maniacal Laughter increases your status effect damage, which would make sense for an elemental build, but I typically don't spec into it because I think this is better for health regeneration, survivability. And then All Things Are Awesome is an alright skill to have. It increases fire rate, weapon swap speed, and max health for every teammate in the game. It's an okay skill to have, but I don't spec into it. Same thing with Kicking Wise Down. The whole thing with how it aggroes enemies while you're in Fight for Your Life is good. However, the Clap in the Box action skill is not good at all, and I'm not a huge fan of it. Now, Through Thick and Thin, however, this is a very good skill to have because it decreases the amount of time it takes for you to get your vaulthunter.exe up. So, and then we're going to spec into You're Going to Love Me, which is not a bad skill to have, but mainly we just spec into it so we can get down here. And basically what this skill does is killing an enemy creates a friendship nova centered on the enemy, healing you and your friends in the radius, and also unlocks the action package Gun Wizard, which increases your fire rate and reload speed while that is active. After that, I'd kind of ignore It's a Trap card because that's kind of optional. I usually go into Wax Off, Wax On because it improves your shield capacity, shield recharge rate, and shield recharge delay, so I always like to have a little bit of extra of that. I'd rather have that than Pain Simulator is painful, because it's better to have your shield up than it is to have your health up, in my opinion, because your shield regenerates with everything else, and with you getting constantly getting kills, you're gonna be gaining a lot of health and stuff like that with You're Going to Love Me. So I always go with something to give yourself a little bit more shield capacity and boosts and stuff like that. Organized Guns Are Happy is an okay skill, but Kick 'em Wise Up is definitely the better of the two, so I always go with that. And what Kick 'em Wise Up does is whenever you gain a second wind, your gun damage, melee damage, and critical hit damage is increased for a few seconds. So, like I said, this kind of goes on top of, all these other skills here that help you when you get yourself back up or while you are downed. So this is kind of like a, I like to call it back from the dead kind of feel to it, because you can just literally get yourself up constantly if you ever get downed. And then we always want to spec into High Fives, guys, because even though you're playing by yourself, if you are playing by yourself, you can still use the skill and it'll give you that extra fire rate and gun damage, which is nice. And then I used to never touch the fragmented frag trap skill tree because I always thought it was confusing. I'm going to explain all the subroutines to you after I spec into Fuzzy Logic. Fuzzy Logic is a basic skill. Whenever you take damage from an enemy, it grants you increased critical hit damage, which is nice. And what these subroutines do, there's basically four basic subroutines. There's the gun subroutines, the defensive subroutines, the elemental subroutines, and the melee subroutines. Basically, what the melee subroutines do is they increase your melee damage, but decrease gun damage. And then elemental subroutines increase the elemental damage of that element and decrease the damage of other elements. So it's kind of like changes the way you play. The defensive subroutines, they increase your shields and health. And the gun subroutines, say I have a shotgun subroutine active, it'll increase the damage, fire rate, and reload speed for that shotgun, or that 4 shotguns that I'm using. But if I'm using a laser, it'll decrease the damage, etc. So it kind of changes the way you play a bit. I wouldn't recommend it if you're playing not solo. If you're playing solo, I definitely recommend it because it can actually make the game quite a bit fun for you. So, and when it says randomly pick them up, it doesn't really mean you randomly pick them up, but it starts, basically when you pick one up, it starts at 100 and then it'll start counting down, and once it reaches 0, you change this next subroutine and it'll be something random, whether it be the ones you spec'd into. So I actually don't even spec into the melee subroutines or the surprise stabilize because I like Blue Shell much more. What Blue Shell does is that it's kind of the same thing as Best Buds for Life, except it only affects you. It increases gun damage, fire rate, and reload speed while in Fight for Your Life. Also increases duration of Fight for Your Life. So that's always helpful, especially if you ever get downed a lot like I do sometimes. And then triple clocked, what that does is it multiplies the bonuses of all the subroutines. So if I'm using a shotgun during a shotgun subroutine, I get 75% rather than just 25%. So it triples it. However, it does triple the decreased gun type, so or the wrong gun type. So if I have a laser during a shotgun subroutine, I'm going to be doing 35% less damage. Sorry, I can't talk. I'm kind of all over the place. I'll go over this later. Grenade event increases. This is kind of to get rid of these 2 skills right here. Actually, get rid of your frag stacks quicker, so that way you can get the next subroutine. I typically don't go with this one, but I do go with Death Machine because killing an enemy increases your gun damage, reload speed, and movement speed for a few seconds. This is for melees, so I typically don't go into that either because I typically don't melee much with Claptrap. But however, Cryogenic Exhaust Manifold, this helps you get rid of your subroutines that you don't want faster, so you can just butt slam a lot, and it'll add a Cryo Nova to your butt slams, which is really nice. And every time you butt slam, it'll just decrease the frag stacks by 5, so it'll just count down by 5 less than. And then Rainbow Coolant is really cool. It's basically whenever you run out of your subroutine, or whenever your subroutine changes, it gives you a Nova consisting of all the elements, and it also unlocks the package Laser Inferno, which is really cool. I also forgot to mention up here in Triple Clocked, One Shot Wonder is also unlocked as a action skill, and basically with every shot empties all bullets from your clip, but does all the damage of that gun. So it's really cool. Kind of lets you burn through your ammo faster. Well, not really burn through your ammo faster, but shoot faster in a way. And then you're left with 1 skill point, which you're free to put through whatever you want. If you want some melee damage, maybe you can go with melee subroutines, but I usually go with either it's a trap card for the extra health, or Element of Surprise, which adds elemental subroutines. And since this is an elemental build, I usually go with that. And basically what that does is adds, of course, elemental subroutines, which I explained earlier already. But upon depleting your shield, filling your shield, or entering Fight for Your Life, you release a Nova of the chosen element. So if it's on Shock, you can release a Shock Nova whenever you're in Fight for Your Life, or your shield becomes depleted, or your shield becomes filled. So very helpful, especially if you are using certain skills here. And that's skill points right there. So what did I do with my action? Oh, this thing. Want to pick that up so we can have our max stats up. Basically, you're going to go with, for the guns, you want to go with an Audacious Sapper class mod, or any class mod that adds 6 one last thing to it, and explosive damage resist and explosive damage overall. So with this class mod, I'm getting plus 31% explosive damage resist, plus 43% explosive damage, and then plus 6 one last thing, which is the bread and butter of this skill tree. I know it's kind of weird how we have all these skills here and we only add more skills to this one, and basically that upgrades it to 880%, which is just a crazy amount of extra damage. So, and then for guns, I'm particularly not too picky with what guns I use. I like to use this Casual Ravager. Basically, I can one-shot any enemy with this gun because it's an explosive weapon. So, and then I get all that explosive damage bonus. Literally, it only takes 2 shots to kill a normal enemy with this gun. So I usually just run around with this when I'm mobbing. This is what I use when I mob enemies. Sorry about that. I had a burp. And then next I have the Thunderfire just for the elemental damage on this thing because it does do electric and fire damage. So very helpful laser for just kind of taking out both. It's kind of like having two Rosies in one in a way, which is kind of saves up the weapon slots. Then here I have the cheat code, or the bitch 2.0 as I like to call it. This gun is a really cool gun to have and is actually a lot better than the bitch in my opinion because it can come in all elements. I have a freeze version. So that way whenever I'm downed I can freeze enemies and then I can keep them where they're at, so I can, if I need to move closer to them to get a better shot I can, or I can just shoot them in the head because it does have that 75% critical hit damage increase, and it also has a 30% chance to ignore enemy shields because of the Loonshine bonus. But basically the special effect of this gun is that whenever you're in fight for your life, it has a chance to not consume ammo when it's being fired, so that is very helpful, and that's why I consider this gun to be much better than the bitch. And you get this gun from being the Claptrap Voyage DLC, so it's not a hard gun to get either, so yeah, that's why I recommend it. And then here we have the Bada Boom, which is just when I'm in those really tough situations and I just need to get myself out of it. So that also does explosive damage and has a magazine size of 9, so we're also utilizing that one last thing skill when using this. And then for my shield I have a Warming Avalanche. You get this gun, or not this gun, this shield from Ajumer, and this is actually a really good shield because it's like 3 shields in one basically. Actually, it's kind of like 4 shields in one. It's basically the mix between a Roid shield, a Spike shield, a Nova shield, and like an immunity kind of resistor kind of shield because when it's depleted, the melee attacks deal bonus Roid damage, so you're doing Roid damage with this, which is good for melees. Grants immunity to cryo damage, releases and Cryo Nova Blast when depleted, so that's how that's a Nova shield. And then also when you are meleeed, it releases Ice Spike damage to enemies as well. So this is just a very good shield overall, and it'll freeze enemies, which will do multiple damage with your explosive stuff, so it's very helpful. And then another grenade mod that can actually substitute for the Quasar is the Mega Nade, which you get from actually the same area that you get the Thunderfire, which is really cool. But yeah, this just sucks in enemies and it's good for mobbing, so keeps them all close together, and that way you can kill them a lot faster and group them up because you're using the shotgun that kind of takes them out in a huge blast radius. And then the Eddie Oz kit, everyone knows what this Oz kit does. I mean, come on, it replenishes your shields, gives you extra laser damage, and also helps replenish your health because it drops health vials as well. So it's just very good for survivability. Plus it has that decent O2 capacity and max slam damage as well. So that's why I always go with that. And we already talked about the Audacious Sapper class mod. And this is pretty much my build for whenever I'm mobbing and just running around the map and not really caring about what I do. If I am going up against a raid boss, however, I do change my build up quite a bit. I changed my grenade mod to a Stormfront grenade mod because it's just better, has a much larger radius to it. So that's why I go with that. And then if I really need to, I'll sometimes switch to the Fragnum or the Maggie for my first SWAT weapon here. I typically go with the Maggie because it's more accurate than the Fragnum. And the Fragnum's nowhere near as good as it was in Borderlands 2, so yeah, I just typically go with that. And then for the heavy weapon, I actually switched to the Flacker. Yes, the Flacker shotgun, which is known to be a really shitty ass shotgun in Borderlands 2, but is actually pretty good in the pre-sequel, especially with Claptrap, because it just does this massive amount of explosive damage. You can get up to like 1,000,000 damage with this gun. I'm not even kidding, because the second shot for some reason just does immense amount more damage than it does with the other shots. So it literally just demolishes anything. So it's a very good explosive shotgun to have, and pretty much kills the Sentinel in a couple of hits. I'm not even joking about that one. And yeah, that's pretty much how my build changes. Sometimes I'll pull out the quality IVF, which is basically what that does. If you don't know what the IVF does, it is basically the baby maker from Borderlands 2. Oh shit, didn't try to do that. You just kind of throw it, and it does a lot of explosive damage, so that's why people sometimes they just kind of like throw it and then reload it over and over again. It does quite a bit of explosive damage that way because it, like I said, it expands and stuff like that. I don't like to do that. I think that's really cheap, but some people like to do it. But yeah, guys, that is my Claptrap build, my explosive level 70 Claptrap build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe for more Borderlands the pre-sequel content, because I will always be doing this on my channel, I'm pretty sure. So, And something else I wanted to say, I can't remember it now. Oh yeah, I also started a Facebook page, guys. I don't know if any of you guys are aware of this, but I know a lot of you guys know that I have a Twitter account. I know I don't get on that much, but it does, for sometimes there's videos that don't get public right away or get posted public right away for whatever reasons. YouTube doesn't like me. So it would definitely help you guys if you followed me either on Twitter or through Facebook, because that way I can make sure those videos go out to you guys, and it just helps me stay more updated with you guys as well, because if there's a problem or an issue, I can always let you guys know what the hell's going on. So you know, my Facebook page and Twitter, they're always in the description. You know, my Twitter is @bosswave or @itsbosswave, and then my Facebook page is facebook.com/itsbosswave. So shouldn't have a huge problem finding those, but yeah, I do recommend that you guys check those out. And yeah, that's all I kind of really need to say. Thanks again for 400 subscribers. Be sure to subscribe for more Borderlands and pre-sequel content, and like the video if you enjoyed. And I think I'm running out of things to talk about, so yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later.